Before we get things underway for the April market report, if you are a first-time home buyer, hopefully you subscribe to this podcast and got in touch with your lender about the California Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan and its limited funding.
Because this is like $300 million set aside. Did I hear that right?
That's what I read. $300 million.
300. If they borrow the max of 100,000, that's 3,000 people. That'll get in the state of California.
There you go.
That'll last about 6 minutes, right? Okay.
6 minutes may have been a bit of an embellishment, but it was actually 6 days. So the state has paused the program as of April 6th because all the money ran out. If it comes back, you will be in the know because you subscribe to the SLO County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. It's April market update time. Here's your host, James Bueno.
SLO County Real Estate with Hal Swayze. And guess what, everybody? Mr. Swayze is with us. How are you, sir?
Perfect, James.
JT, I'm going to give you your new hello sign that was off podcast. JT, how are you, sir?
Happy to be here. Hope to help the team win.
You will most definitely. And Mr. Pete, how are you, sir? I'm going to give you the JT sign as well.
I'm great, James.
Mr. Pete, how are you, sir?
I am phenomenal.
Giving you the JT weird wave. Sorry about that.
He's got a sweet smile and a cool beard on his face. He's very
You
well.
have to describe what you're doing.
Well, no, I want people to wonder.
We're not.
It's
It's not
well.
gross.
Look, I prefer this versus this. That would have been really weird. Yeah,
Now-
you're looking at me. So
Next.
So yeah, I'm glad everybody. You're glad everybody. There's no video camera in here.
Audio
So that's
edit.
Mr. Swayze.
Hey.
What are we doing today?
Oh, we're going to talk about our April 2023 market update. What's happening in the real estate market in San Luis Obispo County?
Yeah, let's do it.
We do it every month. The basic pattern is this, okay? We'll get into some details, but we have very few homes for sale and excess demand. So over a year ago, we have fewer sales, which is to be expected, and our inventory is basically a little bit higher, but we still have a lot of demand and multiple offers. So just in general, we had 225 homes on the market a month ago. Now it's 248, more than last year, but still not that many. Here's the fun one. We had 153 properties go into escrow versus 148 in March. Jay, you were talking about new openings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that means escrows, open, like homes go into escrow, right?
I'm tracking those weekly, and those weekly numbers are increasing week over week over week.
A weekly, WEAK weekly, or
WEE.
like poorly weekly, or every 7 days?
Every 7 days.
Okay, so you're doing it often.
Very frequently.
Not poorly. So we look at closed sales. We had 160 this month, down from last year, to be expected record year, and that's March. So that's when the market started to change last year. Up 160 versus 122 in February. So that really talks to what you're speaking of. And so let's take a look at this. 100 new homes came on the market, slightly more than this time last year, a few houses more. But if 160 went away and we only refilled it with 100, what's going to continue to happen with our inventory?
Decrease. It's evaporating.
Getting lower.
Yeah, getting lower inventory. We have seen, I would call it a renewed urgency in the marketplace, especially for new listings. It's still price sensitive. You got to be fairly priced, but multiple offers, I would say, on a good percentage of the properties we have. We just listed 2 fourplexes, already have multiple offers, got a house out in Varian Ranch, $2.6 million, multiple offers. There's a lot of demand and a lot of buyers chasing, not much available.
I think it's the photography.
It's totally your photography.
Yeah.
It's not the photography, it's your photography.
Yeah.
Well, there's a seasonality in real estate. The winter is November, December, January, February, March, April, May. That's when the spring starts to take off. But I think we've got an additional dynamic with, the rumor or the concept that rates are going to come down, and everybody that was in the market trying to buy when rates were at 3%, 10, 12 offers all over asking price. Everybody was getting these great rates.
Right.
It was horrible for those that couldn't get an offer accepted. And if you are under the general belief that rates are going to come down and that's going to happen again, it's creating a very strong sense of urgency for those that have been on the fence. Like, okay, when's the market going to bottom out? We're already seeing a turnaround in properties coming on, and the numbers you just stated verify that. 160 sold, 100 on the market coming. That's inventory is drying up. Buyers better get out there and get something before they get in that battle again.
Well, and I think what happened is that was the fastest rate increase in the history of our country.
Yeah.
And people were thrown back. What?
Yeah.
And now they've settled in and they realize, a 6 1/4 or 6 3/4 rate, I'm okay with that. And there's a lot of lenders that are giving borrowers money. They will pay to buy your rate down like a percentage point for the first year. right? They're credits. I mean, you see companies online offering money. So there's so many things working in that direction that people are noticing, like, okay, can I afford it? Is it the right time? It's time to do it.
So, Jay, I want to time the market. When should I buy?
The best two times to buy real estate, 20 years ago and today.
Right.
So, Jay,
I'm quoting you, John. That's your quote.
Jay, so let's say May 10th happens, right? That the whole rates going down. How easy is it going to buy a house if the rates go down? Let's say it drops a point or whatever, right? Is it going to be super easy? I'm going to buy a house now. There's going to be houses for sale.
Here's what you need to do. If you're considering buying a house, if you're waiting for the rates to come down, get in the game now. Right? Get your pre-qualification, get all your ducks in a row, talk to your lender, get your real estate professional on deck, build the team that you need to execute. That's what you need to do. If it was me, I'd lock a property up today. I'd take it down at 7% interest and then refinance. And the mortgage industry knows that. It's like the spread between what the 10-year treasury and what the 30-year rate is usually 175 to 200 basis points, or like 1.75% to 2%. And now it's 3% because they know it's short-term money. They know people are going to be refinancing. There was a prepay penalty for a lot of loan programs, 6 months. They've decreased that to 4 months because they know people are going to want to get out. And so get into the property today. One of John's great quotes is to stretch today to really benefit in the future. Or you can get that rate buy down for a year. You can ask the seller to contribute. You can ask the lender to contribute. You can contribute. Get that rate down to what you can afford today. And then when the rates come down in May, you can refinance, or whenever they come down. Guys and gals that I work with that have had buyers that they've been showing houses to for the last 4 or 5 months, they are buying whatever. Like that checks like 75% of what I'm looking for. Make an offer. I want to close escrow before there's this frenzy again because we lost the last year when we tried around this time.
Did I hear when Ben Lerner was with us a couple weeks ago, did I hear him right when he said that the loans that they're originating today, that they'll give one refinance for free?
What I think you're talking about is most lenders these days, if they write you a loan today at 6.75% and in a few months you're at 5.75%, they will do a no-cost refinance for you. That's not uncommon.
Yeah, so it's back to Jay's point. I mean, if the projections come true and rates do dip into the summertime, we're going to see that little more of that frenzy that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So put some urgency behind your purchase.
Well, I mean, look at what's happening today in the marketplace. Jordan, one of our great agents in here, has been working with a nice couple, firefighter and nurse, and they were on the conference line. I was listening in, and they've missed out on 5 or 6 properties. Overbid. They're first-time buyers. They have a loan down payment, but they got their loan all organized, and they saw a house they like. And when the husband and wife were on speakerphone with him that I could overhear, they sounded like seasoned veteran real estate agents. Well, should we do a 3-day contingency for our inspections, or should we just waive it? No, let's waive, honey. Okay, let's do this. And on the loan, should we do a couple of, no, let's just waive the loan. We know we got our loan, and they wrote this up and they got their offer accepted that day. Now, the nice thing is, Jordan knew the listing agent and they were kind of family friends. So you never know what's going to make the difference. But I'm just saying, if you're a buyer out there now and rates go down 1%, it could be even more challenging than it is. Mm-hmm. So just be prepared. So urgency is what we're seeing.
So we're talking about buyers, Hal.
Yes.
You primarily work with sellers. What would you tell a seller that's kind of on the fence right now?
We're getting back to a little bit more where it's not uncommon to have multiple offers and have prices get bid up. I got 2 offers on a 4-unit building I had in Atascadero. One full price, all cash, one like $100,000 over asking price before it came on the market. The seller's waiting, and we'll see what happens. But I would just say you have less competition right now, plenty of demand, and there's a lot of money in this community like we have never seen. And I'm just saying there's a lot of resources, whether it's the first-time buyer that's doing what they're doing or the cash buyer that's gonna pay a good price. And you can never prepare too early. Most people go, oh, well, I've got to get the lawn mowed, I got to paint, I got to fix the loose rain gutter. You can do that on your own, kind of like saying I'm going to remodel my bathroom on your own. But how long is it going to take you to do it on your own? If you give us a call, we can get it knocked out much quicker, faster, and easier, and then you don't have to stress over it. So give us a call. I'm not plugging. I'm just saying we can tell you a lot of people will be surprised, and we'll talk about prices in a second, but it's a great time to be a seller.
So, Hal, once the summertime gets here, and let's say the rates do drop, is there going to be a frenzy of sellers?
Everybody sells for different reasons. 90% of loans today, the rate is less than 5%. And half of those are 3.5% or under. High rates make people stay in place because I've got a low rate locked in, right? I don't want to give up my solar system, my property taxes, and my low payment, okay, if they move. So if rates become lower, then it could be more attractive for an owner to say, I want to move, but I don't want to get off my 3.5. Well, it comes to 5, they might go, for a couple $100 more, I'm going to move the house I want. So rates could help the market in many facets.
Well, if I'm a seller, don't I want to sell at the top of the market?
Deciding on where to sell a house, when to sell it, what the price should be, or like a fingerprint. It's all very individual. So no one knows what the market's going to do next. It's what makes sense for the individual person.
And when it comes to selling, I mean, because when you talk about stocks and bonds, you want to sell high, buy low, right? Like, so you translate that to real estate. It sounds like a great idea, but the reality is, if I'm a seller and I'm waiting for that top of the market, I'm going to get the top dollar. And so the market's about to turn. We go into escrow, and boy, if you've timed it right, it turns while you're in escrow. Well, how does the buyer feel about that? Now you've got them nitpicking every little thing. The deal stands to fall apart. If it falls out, now you're chasing a market down. Do I want that level of stress? No. I'll leave $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on the table and sell in a rising market because the buyer wants my house. He's not going to nitpick me over every little thing. The double pane windows, they need to be replaced. He doesn't care because the market is hot and he wants the property. It's going to save me headache, the pain and stress of having to go through this battle when the market turns and you've got a seller that was just trying to close because the market's turned. You got a buyer that's saying, well, hey, the market's turning. I don't know if I don't want to deal with any of that. I'm always going to leave a margin on the table at the top to live in peace and sleep at night.
Can I dispel maybe a little bit of a myth in terms of pricing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I get something on my chest first?
You go. You do it. Here it comes.
I'm ticked off. I really am. I'm ticked off at our friends in the media, Jay. Can you believe it?
Yeah. Actually, I can.
I mean, they talk about median prices being down in the country, and maybe there are some places in the country where that might be true, but median prices, they say, even are down in our market, and I think that does a disservice to the public and a disservice to us in the industry too. We know that prices aren't down, so we have to then go have a conversation with somebody who read the newspaper this morning and talk about what does it mean for the median price. Would it surprise you if I told you that the lower priced homes, more of those are selling today because of higher interest rates?
No.
So what's that going to do to the median sale price?
Yeah, bring it down.
It's going to bring it down. Now, that doesn't mean that home values are going down. It just means that the houses that are selling. And
Sure.
so I'm ticked off at our friends in the media because we have to have conversations with everybody every day that's in the marketplace looking to do something, and they're expecting lower prices.
There's lots of ways to look at it. One is a median a good way to measure prices, and you're saying no, and I would agree with you. People are they worried about what happened in the last 10 years to prices or what's going to happen in the next year?
Yeah, I would
Right?
say most people are concerned about the next year.
Yeah, Apple stock went down 10% or 2% or whatever. Maybe it's a time to buy Apple stock. So we've got median prices, we got the trajectory of the marketplace, and quite honestly, it's really, like you, John, said, it's specific circumstances. So last year in San Luis Obispo, this is average price. Now, I'm not saying average price, right? So what's the average price of groceries this year versus last year? Well, what groceries when and when, over what time? You can't, it's silly to look at some of them. But if we just look at average prices that could or could not be better than median prices as a barometer, last year of the 37 that sold in San Luis Obispo, they were at 969,000. This year of the 35, so 37 last year, 35 this year, closed 994. So last year 969, this year 994 average price. So are they going up or they're going down? I could actually tell you, and John and I fight about this a little bit. I've seen houses last year that sold in, the spring, the busy time of the market, selling this year. They're more. Same house selling for more. And I've seen houses that last year sold and they might be selling for less.
Depends on the condition of who's selling, who's buying, where the house is located. Farini Heights is different than downtown. It's different from the Foothill. It's different than Laguna.
Yeah. And I got to say this, if you're in real estate and you worry about a 2% drop, even if it's true in the value of home, you got to focus on something else, because that's not going to, it's not going to change your life. But I would just say the big fear that everyone has, and fear is what sells ratings, and we need to have more fear on this podcast, because I guess, are we in the media now because we're doing this? Are we part of that group?
We're not the
Please
shock and
no.
knock.
We are not.
Okay,
we
good.
give positive information, not negative.
This is bar media.
Well, that's the thing about this. Hopefully, if you're hearing this right now, you're coming here to get this kind of rich information and realize that this is more than a soundbite. What you guys do is actual information. It's like Jay saying, hey, listen, the win is maybe leaving $20,000-$30,000 on the table. You can't really claim victory because you timed the market the perfect way. Like, what does that get you? You can pat yourself on the back for it. Great. That's awesome. But if it caused you headache and it caused you sleepless nights, and maybe it caused the deal to go through to fall through in the worst possible scenario, then you haven't really won. It's not black and white. And that's what you guys do this podcast for.
I think we're microeconomics as opposed to the macro story that's being told.
Yes.
Right, and that's the difference.
Yeah, one's bigger, one's smaller, right?
Yeah, macro.
Big and micro.
We drive it down. Yeah. We're the scalpel to someone else's broadsword.
Yeah. Can I share one more? This is just kind of fun for me to look at.
Yeah, no, I love it.
I'm putting my nerd hat on.
I love the numbers.
So Atascadero, last year in the month of March, 25 closed, average price $775. Okay.
In Atascadero.
Atascadero, 25 closed, $775 price. This year, guess how many? Anybody?
27.
25.
Okay.
So this is an easy one. Same number. $781 was the price. I made $6,000 maybe on an average price. Again, I'm joking. Here's a little difference though. Last year it took 10 days. This year it took a full 32 days for those to go into escrow. Okay. So a full month. So
still a seller's market.
So you know what? Time on the market has tripled in the last year. There's your headline.
There's your sensationalism. All right.
You are in the news.
Yeah.
Just drop the mic, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's the fear we were looking for.
Yeah, right. Time on the market has tripled.
So
a full month.
I haven't done this for a while. I'm going to hold you guys to some numbers. So, JT, you know this. How many available homes are available right now in the county? Sidelines County.
This morning when I looked, there were 323 on the website that I use.
All right, Jay, you first. How long is it going to take for us to get to 600?
600 homes on the market for sale?
Yeah, how long is that going to take?
That is a crystal ball.
It's a guess.
Clouded,
no,
yeah.
I need a number. You know this. You know this game.
28 months.
Wow. Okay, that's actually sooner than I thought. JT, what do you think?
I don't think I'm going to see it in my lifetime.
Whoa, that's 30 years. JT, 30, 40 years.
Oh, that's so generous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we change the question? What would have to happen for us to get back to 600?
Oh, okay.
One, you could start building a lot of houses. Can that happen very fast?
I mean,
Well, let me answer. No,
Yeah, no, it doesn't
gotta
take-
get approval. It takes 10 years to get these subdivisions.
it would
and
have
slow,
happened.
yeah.
Applied for 7 years ago for it to
Yeah,
have
so that would say 10 years. So that's probably not right. I guess if rates went way down to 2%, I'd be willing to maybe be more open to moving. Right?
Yeah.
My
would.
wife would have
Give
listed
your
my house
2
with
and a quarter.
2.75. My wife will list my house with someone else if it gets down that low to go buy it, right?
Yeah.
So interest rates, that could do it. If the demand just goes away, right? If we stop selling 150 homes a month, then it would only take 2 months for that if we had 0 sales.
No, that's not going to happen.
there could be regulation, government policy, state policy that changes, and people want to leave the state.
Meteorites.
Meteorites, yeah.
When you think about these interest rates and how solid people are in their homes, there's just not going to be a lot of people that suddenly make homes by selling them. Okay, I'm going to either sell them
Right.
or they're going to make them. And they're not making them fast enough. And nobody wants to sell them. Not nobody, but most people like where they are and don't want to move.
Many years ago, I was trying to explain to friends of mine from out of the area why the San Luis Obispo real estate market's the best real estate market in the world, in my opinion. And one of the reasons was because of Cal Poly. What could possibly happen in the world for Cal Poly to shut down and mess up our beautiful real estate market here? And sure enough, in 2020, the thing that we never thought of, it almost happened. Cal Poly shut down for a period of time.
Right.
Not really, but sort of.
Well, they weren't letting students.
I mean, it did.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Two quarters, all the colleges did that. It was crazy.
I mean, if Cal Poly really did shut down,
right.
it would change the landscape of this county in a very negative way. What could come along, and ruin the San Luis Obispo real estate market?
I mean, I wouldn't agree with you even if Poly shut it down. I mean, people are still going to show up here.
It's a great place.
The kids, I mean, when COVID struck, those kids that couldn't go to school, students, it's not like they went home. They stay. I mean, I think even if the university did that, I mean, it would be a little bit of a change, but I don't even know that would make that big a change.
But the university gets more applications just for our campus here than the entire rest of the Cal State system combined. So the fact that Cal Poly is a very desirable college, what could happen in this county to mess up our real estate market?
Well, I mean,
A huge earthquake? I don't know.
Meteorite, meteor.
Weren't you legitimately scared when the pandemic came around for the rental market in San Luis Obispo proper?
My opinion when it hit,
yes,
and I turned out to be wrong, was that rents would go down because of it.
That's what everybody thought.
And
that didn't happen.
And guess what?
Yeah,
Went the other direction.
Went the other way.
Well, where were you supposed to be sheltering? Shelter at home,
right?
And people looked around and went, "Man, if this is where it's going to be, I need something different."
Right.
I mean, I think in large part, just as an outsider, somebody who doesn't work in the business, I believe real estate is such a hot topic because people realize the importance of their homes. They didn't take it for granted as just a place they throw their keys on the counter when they get home and hang their coat up and go to sleep. The home is a very important place to, foster and nurture your family.
Jeff, for 40 years, I loved talking about insurance in financial services. It's a lot easier conversation with my friends and relatives now to talk about real estate. Everybody wants to talk about real estate.
I could imagine.
They didn't want to talk about their deductible on their car insurance, but they want to talk about the value of their.
Well, that's no fun.
Hey, Jay, complete this thought for me, will you?
Here we go.
Best.
So this is a quiz. Don't wait to buy real estate.
Buy real estate and wait.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. We haven't said this in a while, so if you have any questions or if you would like to submit a topic for one of our podcasts, we'd love to hear from you. You can contact Mr. Swayze, Hal at teamswayze.com, or myself, James, at teamswayze.com. We'd love to hear comments as long as they're positive. And if you have any topics for us, we'd love to talk about them. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. We will see you all next week.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, James.
Thank you for listening to the Hal Swayze podcast. Be sure to subscribe and rate this podcast. It comes out every Monday, so check for it in your feed for the latest information on the San Luis Obispo County market. The SLO County Real Estate with Hal Swayze podcast is available wherever you get your podcast and on halswayze.com, where you can find current listings and other real estate tips. halswayze.com, that's HALSWEASEY.com. I am James Bueno, Director of Marketing for the Hal Swayze Group. If you're looking for anything real estate, give us a call, 805-781-3750.
Hal Swayze is a licensed California real estate broker. DRE number 01111-911. The SLO County Real Estate with Hal Swayze podcast is a production of AGM Podcasts. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.